week on Environment, animals with all the answers. In Japan, scientists look to pets for warning signs of an earthquake.
Some people think it is because of their sense of hearing or smell, but I think it's all about instinct.
Highlighting water pollution in France, fluorescent tadpoles detect hazardous waste using biotechnology.
The tadpoles are being used here as watchdogs.
And India's most sacred animal offers an unexpected blessing for farmers. Cow urine is hailed as an alternative to chemical fertiliser.
Cow urine and cow dung, these are the two items which give life to the soil.
Most, if not all, animals are believed to have a sixth sense. Some say their connection to their surroundings is so strong they can even predict the weather. Take these butterflies, for example. Should they leave the flower bed, that's a very good sign that bad weather is on the way. Of course, like our meteorologists, they don't always get it right, but scientists in Japan have taken a very serious approach to this idea of an extraordinary sense by studying whether our pets can help us forecast an earthquake. France 1's Justin McCurry with this next report.
Snakes, mice and fish are all potential seismologists, according to Naoyuki Yada. After 18 years of research, this energy expert is convinced that animals have the ability to anticipate earthquakes.
Some people think it is because of their sense of hearing or smell, or because they can feel electromagnetic waves. But I think it's all about instinct. Unlike humans, animals react with more freedom when they feel threatened, like when an earthquake is coming.
To prove his theory, Yada uses sensors on or near the animals so he can see if they become agitated or restless just before an earthquake strikes. After years of experiments, Yada has convincing but not irrefutable evidence.
This chart shows the average number of movements a cat makes in one day. The figure is usually around 200 significant movements, but that number was much higher the day before the huge earthquake struck.
For centuries, the Japanese have observed strange behavior among animals in the days leading up to a major earthquake. Similar phenomena were spotted before the Kobe earthquake in 1995 and again before the Tohoku quake almost 2 years ago. Mao, an 18-year-old, subscribes to that theory. She even asked Yada for one of his devices and a catfish from the Amazon to prove it.
When there was a big earthquake last December, the fish banged against the glass a few times and splashed water. It also moved more frequently than usual.
But putting the theory into action is difficult. Veterinary medicine researcher Ota was confident he could prove that his animals respond to electromagnetic waves that spread before an earthquake. His experiments lasted 15 years, but his results were inconclusive.
It is very difficult to work with animals. It is impossible to reproduce natural conditions in an experiment because animals react to just about anything, including their owners' movements in the case of pets. That's why isolating one particular factor is so complicated.
Depending on animals may be unreliable, but even seismologists failed to anticipate the March 2011 quake, which unleashed a devastating tsunami. That's why interest in animals' ability to predict earthquakes remains high, including in Sasaki City, which is using them in a new program it hopes will predict the next major earthquake.
Certain frogs live on land, certain frogs live underwater. Many of these frogs can change colour. All in all, these amphibians have evolved to become completely responsive to their environment. Now scientists are trying to push the boundaries of this using biotechnology. They're testing whether baby frogs or tadpoles can detect pollution in water, and they've come out with glowing results. These are not at all your ordinary tadpoles. They've been engineered here in this laboratory in France to have special properties that make them stand out.
On ajoute un marqueur génétique
We add a genetic marker that can be found in jellyfish or fireflies, which then produces a fluorescent light when these tadpoles are affected by a polluting substance found in water.
The magic happens inside this machine, a prototype known as Frogbox. Once emerged in a sample of water, the tadpoles swim under a camera equipped with a UV light. It's not visible to the naked eye, but if the tadpole glows, the water's polluted.
This is our measure of fluorescence. A peak here corresponds with a tadpole which lit up in the presence of pharmaceutical waste, micropollutants or pesticides.
This is what the tadpole looks like through the camera. When this part here is lit up, it indicates the pollution is high enough to be dangerous to humans. Some of the species have been modified to react to pollutants that affect the functioning of thyroid hormones, others to pollutants that impact brain development, not only in tadpoles.
Lots of physiological functions are the same in these aquatic larvae and in humans. The thyroid hormones, which control the metamorphosis of an amphibian, the transformation of a tadpole into a frog, are the same as those which control brain development in a baby.
Watchdog services have already been tried and tested at this wastewater treatment plant.
I'm going to take a sample of this water that's come directly from the sewers and storm drainage systems.
In June last year, the special tadpoles were plunged into a similar sample. 2 measurements were taken, one here at the entry point and the other after treatment, when the water is normally discharged clean into the Seine River. The idea was to test the effectiveness of the treatment.
This study confirmed for us that the water which arrives here at the sewage plant contains micropollutants. However, at the exit point, when it's about to be discharged, the micropollutants were no longer present, so they're being eliminated here at the treatment facility.
In France, 10% of medical waste found in water comes from hospitals, which is why this brand new complex is also interested in the research. Inside these laboratories, the staff use dozens of polluting substances to analyse up to 2,000 blood samples each day. In a few months, the Frogbox will be installed here to test the quality of the effluent. For the hospital directors, the project is not only environmental.
If we go over a certain pollution level, we have to pay for extra water purification. So there's also an economic objective. It's a very interesting innovation for us.
Watchdog is now negotiating potentially lucrative contracts overseas. In the United States, these tadpoles could be the first to test water directly from a site where shale gas is extracted, an activity currently banned in France because it's considered highly polluting. Whoever calls this cow dung waste has a lot to learn. Cow manure has been transformed into some of the world's best organic fertiliser. But imagine during this time we've been largely ignoring another byproduct, cow urine. In India, where cows are already highly valued, one veterinary hospital has been bottling and selling this cow urine as a natural alternative to boost crops.
It's well known cows are sacred in India. What's less known is that they are raised for their milk and their urine. In the southwestern state of Kerala, farmers collect the urine and use it as fertilizer for their crops. It's zero-budget farming.
It's very economical. You don't have to invest in fertilizers. The urine and dung of just one of my cows is enough to enrich my soil.
Faced with high input costs, many are increasingly resorting to this type of organic farming, which has already been used for centuries. Scientists say urine and dung have properties that can help revive soil fertility.
Cow urine and cow dung, these are the two items which give life to the soil, because that promote the bacterial count, bacterial organisms then in the soil, which in turn augment the fertility of the soil.
Farmers prepare the organic fertilizer by combining equal proportions of cow urine and cow dung with water and cane sugar juice.
Here I won't use any of the pesticides. Here I mainly on organic pest control. So cow urine is an excellent. 1 liter of cow urine you can mix with 10 liters of water. You can give this foliar spray. That is very good. That it gives a repellent for the insects.
As this kind of organic farming is growing in popularity, Kerala University has decided to sell bottled cow urine fertilizer for about 20 cents. Others go even further. A nationalist Hindu organization says it wants to sell cow urine as drinking soda.
Of all the lessons to be taken from animals, perhaps the most useful is how to live on this planet without leaving a negative footprint, something humans are still yet to master. That brings us to the end of this week's show. Thanks for joining us here on Environment. We'll see you next time.